Texas has never had a recession. So the oil business kept going. There are parts of, it's real. We always say that real estate is local, and it's the same thing with that's what the economy is. I mean, you go to parts of Wyoming and North Dakota. I know nobody lives there, but they can't find enough workers. They just can't find enough workers in those areas because of what's happening with the oil and natural gas in those areas. And there are places like Florida, Arizona, Las Vegas is going to take a long time to recover. Let's put it this way: the economy's recovered when Vegas has recovered.
But Arizona's starting to recover too. Their real estate is getting better.
Yeah.
They're very diversified in their.
But then again, in Arizona, you can buy fourplexes that used to sell for $400 you can buy for $120 now.
You can get 3-2s for like $80,000.
Exactly. So there's some stability there. If not full recovery, there's still some stability there. By the way, let's talk about that. Anybody ever say, "Oh, I don't want to buy a house now because I keep reading the prices are going to go down another 10%"? Well, first off, I don't think anybody in this room believes that. So here's a way to counter that argument. Again, I'm just using numbers to make it simple. I have it in my mind. If you get a $200,000 loan at a 5% interest rate, your principal interest is $1,073 a month. If this property value goes down, and now you're only getting a $180,000 loan, but the interest rates have gone up to 6%, not only is your payment a little bit higher, but more importantly, this property, $60 a month, the very first month, $60 a month more is paying the principal down than the other one. Okay? So while one of the biggest reasons you want to drive clients to buying investment real estate today is the interest rates, this is something to realize how bad it is. Once the interest rates start to creep up again, not only is your payment going to go up, but your amortization goes down. I still remember the first house I bought, it was only, not horrible, like a 10.5% interest rate. And I only had like $6 going towards principal that first month. It was horrendous. In your package, by the way, just to let you know, there's a lot more in this package than what we're going to be talking about. We talked about the expenses. I just give you an example on a $100,000 purchase. What happens to principal and interest? I mean, over from 4.5% to 7.5% to give your clients an idea. I know you know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know or should already know. But again, it's just something you may want to. That becomes an argument if someone talks about, the value of the prices may still be going down on real estate. Yeah, they might still go down, but who knows? Oh, by the way, since I turned to it, turn to this page in here. 3 ways to help your children in investing in real estate. I think the first one is something that a lot of people don't appreciate. By the way, I know this is not a house in Almaden, so don't jump on me for that. But I know a lot of people who do this, especially realtors. The kid is born. What they want to do is put money away for the kid's college, right? Because anybody here have to put a kid through college recently? That hurts. God, okay, look at the situation. You put 25% down on a $100,000 house. Again, we're using simple numbers to make it work. You put a $100,000 property. You put 25% down. Now, an $800 rent on a $1,000 property. That might seem like a lot. That is nothing. I can tell you markets not far away from here, properties that are selling for between $90,000 and $120,000, or rents are anywhere from $950 to $1,100. It is not hard to find a $100,000 property with an $800 a month rent there. You can actually do even better than that. But just using a simple conservative example, you get a 15-year loan on that property, even at 5%. The PITI on that property is about $750. So in other words, at the end of 15 years, you have paid off that property. Your kid is now 16, 17 years old and applying to Stanford, or applying to some other school like that. You're thinking to yourself, so what am I going to do? Well, guess what you have now? You have an asset that's appreciated a little bit in value, that's completely paid off, And just using an example here of a property value that goes up only 3% per year. By the way, in California it goes up more than that, but just something that matches the average CPI. Your $25,000 is now paid off and is worth $156,000.
That would buy 3 years of college.
Yeah, yeah. Now, so the thing is, that's a 13% return on your money. If I could say, put money away and I guarantee you a 13% return on your money, how much of people would put their money away at 13%? Yeah, I do it all day long. It's a fantastic return on your money. Now, again, this doesn't have all the expenses, etc., but it doesn't show depreciation, doesn't show the other tax advantages, but it just gives you an idea. And where by the time the kid's is ready to go to school, now what can you do with that property? You can do one of two things. You can either sell it, pay tax on $50,000, and have $140,000 towards the kid's college. You can use the cash flow, the rent, to pay the college. Or, my favorite, do a 1031 exchange and go buy a 6-bedroom house next to where the kid's going to go to school. Now, if it's a private school, what's important here is you have your kid rent out the bedrooms to other friends. If all of you are thinking to yourself, frat party? No. Because the kid's parents are co-signing that rental. And trust me, they won't trash it if their parents are co-signing for it. And nice thing is, your kid's living there rent-free because he's managing the property for you. And if he's going to a state school 8 years from now when he graduates, you have a property that's... If he's at Stanford, it might take him 4, but if he's at Fresno State, it'll take him 8.
Yeah.
But it gives you more time for appreciation, put it that way. And the kid basically has had a free free room for that whole time. I think it's pretty cool as a strategy, personally. So those are just different ways you can use this. All right, now let's keep talking about this. Now we talked about the beginning investor. Now let's talk about somebody who already owns investment real estate. For somebody who already owns investment real estate, why would they do a 1031 exchange? Why does somebody do a 1031 exchange? To defer taxes, to protect their taxes. That is the wrong answer.
To build wealth.
To build wealth, that's much closer. The easiest way to defer taxes is to sit on your butt and not sell it. Okay? If you don't sell the property, you don't have to pay the taxes. The reason people do an exchange is because they own a property today, but they want to own something better tomorrow. So this is where you have to start thinking, what does better mean? Better means whatever the client thinks it means. It's what is better for them. I'm going to retire in 3 years. My kids live in Alabama. Maybe I'll do a 1031 exchange and buy a bunch of property there, because that's where I'm going to retire to. That's a good strategy. Maybe I want to sell my 3 houses and buy an apartment building. That's a strategy. Maybe I bought a property for appreciation, and it did appreciate. Maybe now it's time to sell that and go buy something that's cash flow. So you're changing your strategy on the property from what you bought that property for to another strategy. One of the biggest, here's something to learn about today's market. One of the biggest strategies we have for investors today are people selling 800 million, $1.5 million property and heading east and buying 6, 8, 10, 12 properties in the valley in other states. Okay, I did an exchange for a woman. Some of you might even know her. She sold a $1.4 million house in Palo Alto. She bought 18 houses in Las Vegas. Now, well, okay, and this is a year ago when the market there was even worse than it is today. I had to ask her. I go, why? And she told me. And there were really two reasons. There were really two reasons behind it. One, she goes, if only 1/3 of the properties are rented, I am making more money than I was on my house in Palo Alto.
They can't buy houses, but they can rent them in Vegas.
Exactly.
That's a good investment.
Because the house in Palo Alto, she was renting, a 1-4 Palo Alto ain't much of a house, right? And she was still getting almost $4,000 a month for that. But those properties in Vegas that she was buying for $80,000, $90,000, she's renting those things for $600, $700, $750. If only 6 of them are full, she's making more money than the house before. She went from a pure cash flow, from a pure appreciation play to a pure cash flow play. I did another exchange for a gentleman.